everyone, Dr. Susan Kay here, signing in from Austin, Texas. And today we're going to speak with Lola, who is in Vermont, right? Lola, that's where you are currently. I don't know. She's always all over the place. I'm never quite certain. But Lola's going to tell us her fascinating story of how she came to be here today with me, how we know each other, and her adventures in becoming what is your site? Living a True Life.
Live a True Life.
Live a True Life. And that's what Lola is doing.
Yeah.
And she's
life.org. Yeah.
Living, okay, livingyourtruelife.org.
Liveatruelife.org.
Emily, cut that all out because we could do it at the end too. We'll put it at the end, how to reach you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So Lola is going to share with us her story, how did she's come to be here today, and maybe some of the projects we're doing together, which are very exciting as well.
Sure.
And then also how to reach her if you would like to connect and communicate with Lola. So Lola, just take us down the road, the path that you've been on, and that again has you here with me today.
Well, it is indeed a long and winding road. I was going to say a long and twisted path, but that doesn't quite fit right. I think the sort of seminal turning point for me was in May of 2008, when I actually went to San Francisco to participate in Barbara Carellis's 5-day, now 6-day Urban Tantra professional training program. I had met Barbara actually quite a few years before, and we'd had a very nice, very sweet connection. And I actually worked for her for a bit when she was producing those trainings. She still is producing them, but I no longer am in that role. And that opened me up in a way that I had sort of had hints of. I've been an educator. I've been an educator and a teacher for almost 20 years, but primarily to university, college level stuff. And in early 2000s, I started teaching more adult ed. And then by the time I got to 2007, 2008, I began to seriously look at what am I doing with this skill set that I have. And I went to San Francisco in 2008 and attended this 5-day training. And I just had my eyes opened. It was a remarkable group of people. It was a small group at that point. She was just getting that whole program solidified. And I sat in the room with a wide range of people, philosophers, sex workers, massage therapists, and each one of them had a really wonderful story about their life and their experience and what they did and why they did it. And one of the things that Barbara happens to be very good at facilitating is getting you to think about your own directions and what you want to do. And at that time, there was a segment in the training that was called Defining Your Mission. And when I started that, I was lost. I was just, what the heck is this all?
Tell me again, how old were you at this time?
Oh, age-wise, you want me to do calendar math in the middle of an interview? No.
Well, I think it's important.
I was day over 30. No, I was 2008. That was what, almost 20 years ago? No, 12 years ago. Yeah. 12 years ago. So I was in my mid 50s at that point.
So this was a new horizon for you. This is something that
yeah.
So at any age and stage of life, we can be true to ourselves.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, absolutely. Good. Thank you.
So I was still doing university teaching at that time, but I came away from that 5-day experience realizing that I knew what my mission was. I wanted to help guide people into a place in their own mind and in their own life and in their own body that felt true and real to them. And it took me a while to really clarify that. But I did. And in the process of doing that, I got really clear on who I was. And I had decided quite a few years later that I wanted to do the gender transition. I had been kind of very, I don't know, cautiously, reluctantly, with a bit of hesitation, sort of navigating that part of me, never really understanding what it is. And by the time I got to the 2010, 2011, 2012, I started to recognize it for what it really was and began the transition process in 2014.
Wow.
Um, After I had sort of clarified some of the trip points for me,
Yeah.
found a really wonderful doctor who is just, she's continued to be a wonderful doctor for me. And that transition really kind of helped me really get clear on exactly who I was, on how I wanted to live, on what I wanted to do, and how I wanted to interact with other people.
Mhm.
I began the process of developing a coaching business. I had a lot of help from one of my intimate partners at the time, who was also kind of doing the same kind of thing with her life, as shifting gears and finding out what she wanted to do. And so we helped each other, and I developed my practice and my website, and started to bring in clients um, for basically mostly relationship coaching. Sex coaching is a whole different art and a whole different thing to do with people, um, and was kind of merrily tootling along with that. And I had, in the meantime, I had experienced Betty Martin and Wheel of Consent, and I dove very, very deeply into that process. And it was through the Wheel of Consent that I actually first met you, Susan, in Philadelphia. We did,
Mhm.
I think it was sort of a back to back Wheel of Consent and one of your weekend intensives.
Yes. Yeah.
And that kind of really clicked some things for me, because I realized that the whole idea of surrogacy, it wasn't about let's get naked together and do stuff. It was really all about what goes on up here.
And
And
that's the
that,
hardest part, the hardest naked part,
yeah,
right?
it is.
Is those parts.
Yeah, getting really clear on that,
Yeah.
and being clear on what it is, where are my boundaries, what it is that I want and what it is that I don't want, and how to maintain the boundaries and the container. And so it all kind of felt like it was coalescing at that point. And so that's when I began the surrogacy program. And at that point, I had been to so many of the Will of Consent trainings. I felt like I'm a little saturated with this. I can step outside of that for a little while. And I was continuing to do the urban tantra. And so I had then started the surrogacy process, and also developing my coaching practice. So it was kind of a lot at once. I am fairly long term. How long has it been? It's probably since about 2009, practicing polyamory. And I have been very, very lucky to have partners that I've had. I've been a BDSM practitioner for as long, and also extraordinarily fortunate in meeting good people in that scene, because not all of them are great. Um, so I've been very, very fortunate in who I've met and who has been a mentor to me and who has helped me get clear about who I am. Both of my current partners have been wonderfully supportive of my transition. So I'm kind of in this good place until the
And your
pandemic.
children too, right? You have
Sorry.
children that your children as well
Yes.
have,
Yep.
have walked with you. And you shared with me that your daughter bought you that necklace that you're
Yeah.
wearing. And
Yeah. My daughter bought me the necklace, and no, they've been wonderfully supportive, which has really helped. So, I haven't had some of the hard, harsh, difficult, painful experience that a lot of trans people have had. I also was very fortunate to have people like Kate Bornstein, Barbara Carls's partner, as kind of a whispering in my ear. She called herself Auntie Kate. to me early on in the process, which was very encouraging. So I've been really fortunate. I've never been physically assaulted. I've been verbally assailed on more than a few occasions. I've gotten my share of hate mail. I've had enough angry people show up in my life that I know what that feels like, but I've never experienced the physical violence that many trans people and particularly trans women do. So I consider myself highly privileged and very fortunate in that regard. So that has all helped me center who I am and center my practice and center my learning ability. And for me, that actually is key, is to continue to learn and continue to be open to new ideas and new ways of thinking about it, new ways of reaching other people. One of my more recent discoveries that I've really loved putting into my practice is called appreciative inquiry. And I've had some really extraordinary aha moments, or as they might say, oh shit moments from clients when I've actually done that. It's such a simple thing, and they kind of look deer in the headlights look and realize, wow, I'd never thought about it that way. So
Uh,
it's a matter of kind of learning new things and getting new ideas and keeping myself moving around in a way that keeps things interesting and fresh.
mm. Like creating a curriculum, our brand new online curriculum.
That's
uh,
right. Yes, we are.
Professor Lola,
Yeah,
also teacher. You're saying student of life, but you've been a teacher of life as well. And we've been working hard on putting together what I think is an incredible
we
piece
have.
of history. It's current day, and it sets up people with a future that
Yeah,
they can walk into their true self.
yeah, absolutely.
Right?
It's been a
Teach
great
others.
collaboration. Yeah. Yeah, just
Yeah.
to kind of echo the student teacher thing. I've always been one to be careful that as a teacher or practitioner, um, I am not the center I'm not the focal point. The focal point is the client. The focal point is the student. So many years ago, I discovered that flipping that little Buddhist axiom on its head really
Mhm.
worked for me. So basically, what I say now is when the teacher is ready, the student appears, which really for me is it's a real cornerstone of how I work, is not to put myself out in front. And it's not always to my advantage because I don't do a heavy social media dose. I don't try to insert myself into situations or conversations just so I'm noticed. When people are ready for me, they find me.
Awesome. Lovely.
And I'm
And
very excited about our program going forward. I think it's going to be wonderful.
I am too. I am so excited. Thank you so much for your contribution to all of it, to everything that you've stood for, the courage that it took to be your true you. And as you know, I'm writing a book, Am I Normal If? Because that's what I hear from people, like fitting into that normal box. And so, what does that box look like today? And what will it look like tomorrow? You know, the normal box changes
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
daily almost with fashion, politics, and who's in charge. So to take a stand for yourself and say this is who I am at any age and stage again at life, you know, like people might give up and say, oh, I've missed the boat now, I'm too old, or you know, you can start a whole new journey on the the now new value that you have for yourself. You know, we're
absolutely.
so wired to please everybody else or stay in line and do the right thing and, you know, all that,
Oh yeah,
that has us disappear as our own unique gift to others and to the planet.
yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
difficult to keep that part of your centered self because the power and the force of social normativity, cultural norms is extraordinarily deep and extraordinarily powerful. And it's really hard to overcome that most of the time for nearly everybody. It's rare to meet somebody who is really adept at sidestepping that. And you know, it's funny, you do know when you meet someone like that, you can feel it. You can
Mm.
absolutely feel it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, thank you, Lola. It's always good to see you and be with you. And I know we're going to be seeing a lot more of each other as we move forward with the course and the classes. And do you want to tell them again how to reach you, if it's okay for people to
Sure.
contact
Yep.
you? And yeah,
Absolutely. I am fine, open to new clients right now, and anything that's usually hands-on in person is of course done um, via Zoom or Skype, whatever works appropriately for people. At some point, I'll resume the hands-on practice. I'm happy to work with people pretty much anywhere in the country, probably anywhere in the world. The best way to reach me is you can do the contact form. My website is liveatruelife.org. That's liveatruelife.org. And you can reach me at Lola at liveatruelife.org.
terrific. Love it. Great. Okay, well, be talking with you soon. And until then, be true to you. And I'm going to be more invested to be true to me, even though my family still won't talk to me whether I'm a little bit more normal or not. So, well, not that they don't talk, but they never ask me about my work.
Oh,
My entire family, nobody ever asks me about my work. Isn't
oh,
that crazy?
that, that
Yeah.
is sad. That
My
is sad.
one daughter will step in with me a little bit, but I kind of know my boundaries. But it's,
Yeah.
but what do? You keep going, and maybe from afar, they're learning something. That's all we can do.
That's all we can do. Okay. All
All
right. It
right.
was
Take
delightful
care.
to talk to you. All right.
You